I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent in a couple weeks, and that's terrifying, but I'm trying not to be too overwhelmed about it because all I've known for the last year is stress. Employed people don't seem to understand that nowadays you have to know somebody to find a job. And since I was laid off after I moved halfway across the country to a city where I don't know anyone, it's almost impossible to even find a serving job. And if I'm evicted, I can't just go move in with a friend because they're all over 17 hours away. I have a car camping setup, so in theory I could stay in my car, but I recently found out that my 3-year-old car is no longer waterproof. I've applied to well over 100 jobs, and the only thing I get besides rejections are more spam calls, texts, and emails. I paid to be licensed as a substitute teacher, and out of the 12 schools I applied to, I only heard back from one, and it was a rejection. Instacart is full. TaskRabbit is full. Amazon Flex is full. I tried doing Uber Eats, but the only orders I would get would be to drive 45 minutes for $3, and then I still have to drive 45 minutes back, and then it's not even worth all of the gas that you just used. I've had more success making money off of TikTok, but even then it's not enough, and it's hard to be motivated to make videos when you can't afford to eat enough for your brain to function properly. And to film my quilting videos, I have to stand up because I don't own a desk chair, so every time that I try, I don't have enough energy to stand up. My life hasn't been worth living for quite some time. I miss feeling like I have a purpose. I miss being able to participate in life. I miss being able to do the things I once enjoyed. I miss being able to see my friends and my family. It would be so easy to say that I can't take the everyday stress and hunger and give up. And it feels impossible to keep believing in myself and believing that things are going to get better.
About a year ago, I posted a video saying I don't know if I'm ever going to find a job again because I had been looking for so long and no one had given me anything. This is what has happened since I posted that video. 2 months after I posted that video, I got a job offer. 20 hours a week, $16 an hour. 5 months after I started that job, the entire company shut down. 2 months after that company shuts down, I get another job. I'm a dog walker. The most they can give me is about $300 of work per week. So I get another job. I am a petition circulator. I work 40 hours a week, $19 an hour. I'm great at it. This is amazing. I'm finally making a decent amount of money, and the Florida government passes a law that all but bans petition circulating. So now I am back to dog walking, which again pays about $300 a week. I have a bachelor's degree. I have 4 years of experience in mental health, 10 years of experience in childcare. I have experience in higher education, aquatics, food service. When I was in high school, I tutored refugees in English, and I speak French. And I do not believe that there is any job that I am above. I'm telling you, I got rejected by Taco Bell and Sam's Club. Where are my bootstraps? Because I would love to pull myself up by them.
My unemployed rant of the day is about recruiters. I'm talking external recruiters, so not people that actually work for the brands. I have never come across flakier people in my life, and that's coming from a girl who's been on LA Hinge for years. A recruiter will literally be up my ass being like, you're so perfect for this role. You're their favorite we've submitted. And then you do an interview and they literally fall off the face of the planet and will not respond to you. Or they submit you for a role that you're excited about and you hear nothing, so you ask for feedback. Crickets. And this might be so petty of me, but if someone is going to be making commission based off of placing me in a role, I would want them to do a good job and be responsive. I understand they're probably so busy and have so many candidates on their plates, but if it's someone that you're going to go back to and try to place in the future, at least send an update. I do want to give credit where credit's due. The one recruiting firm I've worked with that I really like is the Workshop LA. They have placed me in a role and they are always really responsive and supportive, which is great. All I'm saying is if I had $1 for every recruiter who has ghosted me, I would not need to be looking for a job.
So quick update, I'm actually unemployed now. I was laid off this past week from this company that I've been with for almost 10 years with absolutely zero warning. So my advice to everybody on here is to take that PTO. And if anybody's hiring, please let me know.
If you've just lost your job or are about to lose your job, I hope this video finds you. I lost my job in January. It was the scariest thing I'd ever gone through. But I'm here to say, if you've just lost your job, try the thing you want to try. Don't go apply for another job. Try the thing you want to try. Try the thing that you've always wanted to do but couldn't because you had a full-time job. You already lost your job. Try the thing. It's probably going to work. And if it doesn't work, you're in the same position that you're in right now. When I lost my job, I started doing UGC, user-generated content. I'm not saying you have to go do that. Anybody can do it. Anybody can make money from their phone. But I'm just saying, do the thing that you've wanted to do that's going to allow you to live the life that you want to live. For me, it was doing UGC, making content on my phone and getting paid for it. And it's changed the trajectory of my family's life. So do the thing. If you've just lost your job, do the thing that you've always wanted to do. Try it.
6,000 people got laid off. It's pretty sad. As you guys know or probably heard, Microsoft let go around 3%, which is about 6,000 people this past week. I'm glad to say, I'm happy to say, fortunate to say that I still have my job as a PM. But it's one of those things where you see where you get on LinkedIn and you see people who've been with the company 25, 30 years, got their slips to go. You want to stay optimistic that hopefully they'll land another position in the company before that cutoff time. But I always tell people, no matter what job, no matter what field you work in, it's always good to have a side hustle. It's always good to have a side gig. And that's really important because just like any other industry, you can lose your job today or tomorrow. It's not secure. It's not personal. Unfortunately, just like any other place, you're a number. So when that time comes and your number gets called, that's just how it works. But we're sending positive vibes and positive affirmations to those who are back in the job market looking. I know the job market is extremely difficult right now, just from hearing from friends and family who's trying to break into tech or trying to maintain or trying to look for something new. I don't think looking for something new is really smart right now. I think you should stay where you are. People ask me all the time, like, oh, I'm looking to leave. I just don't think that's smart. I think you should stay where you are, stay planted, keep your feet planted. Build a skill set, get your skills, get your certifications. Especially if you work at Microsoft, I feel like getting certifications where they're free now, you can take them as many times as you like. That's really important to utilize those resources and just to build. Even though I'm a program manager, I don't have a PMP, but that is something that I'm getting this summer because I do know that if my slip was to get called, even though I have the experience in the job title, I think I would be going up against people who have that PMP certifications. And so I would need to be as competitive as possible. I work on a small team. It's only like 6 or 7. I think it's like 6 of us and a manager. My manager's pretty cool. I love her. Genuinely, she looks out and she's always looked out for me. But like I said, it's a surprise. You don't know when the number's going to be called. So that's all those people who are trying to make it work, trying to get in the game and stay firmly in the game because it is difficult, especially working at a company where everyone is great. You look to your left and you look to your right. Nobody got here by chance. Everybody got here because they did the work and they're smart and intelligent people. And something that my mentor, Miss Carol, told me, she always told me, look, you're going to be good with or without Microsoft. And that's true. You will be. You'll be great with or without Microsoft. So that's my message to those who got let go. And if I can be of any resource, just let me know.
Okay, so I'm making this video because I was laid off yesterday. And it was a really shitty day. And I'm also sick, which I'm sure everyone can hear. And that also made it a really shitty day. So I'm making this video just so I can look back on it, remember how I was feeling, and also so it's helpful to other people who are laid off. I feel like it's probably not talked about enough, although I feel like it is getting talked about more, especially with how much I see other people are getting laid off in today's society. And I worked for the Workforce Board, and it's our job to help people find jobs, and I felt like that I'm good at finding jobs and doing resumes and helping people find jobs, and that was kind of my shtick, the thing that I'm supposed to be good at. And this took me completely by surprise. I mean, not completely. I had an idea kind of leading up to it that I was going to get laid off. Our funding has been really limited, but when you hear the news that you're going to be laid off, it is devastating. And then I think you feel, for me, I felt completely numb afterwards, and then terrified, and then you go into survival mode, or I did, and I was doing my resume and updating my LinkedIn status and reaching out and having references. And keep in mind, this happened yesterday. So it's been 24 hours. I'm looking at the clock. It's been 24 hours and I have done all of these things. And yet somehow I'm still in just like numb mode and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think just knowing that it's okay to pause right now and feel all of those feelings. And like I say, again, I'm supposed to be the expert in this. I work for the workforce board here, and I still don't know the correct thing to do, right? So I am going to take a moment to pause and just kind of reset. You know, I don't have a lot of time because I still have bills like everyone, so I'm not necessarily going to take the advice and take so much time, but I am going to pause and feel my feelings, and then I can do action mode. I'm sad, I love my job, but I don't think it makes me less than in any way. It's not a personal reflection on me, but it's okay to be in all of my feelings and just have a moment. So I'm gonna do an update maybe in a day or two and just see kind of my actions. I did apply randomly to a bunch of jobs yesterday in kind of that panic mode, but I think after a little bit I'm going to be a little bit more diligent with what I'm applying to. So today I'm just gonna feel a little sad, a little numb, and that's okay.
I've been unemployed for the better part of 8 weeks, and I have been actively searching this entire time. It has been an incredibly frustrating experience. Now, granted, I have been looking for a lot less time, and my circumstances are a lot less dire than many other people, but it is still so frustrating to continually put your time and effort into convincing companies that you have the skills, the experience, the wherewithal, the team playerness, the attitude to do a good job, and them to still pass on you because your experience does not align 100% with what they want you to do. As someone who has always worked and who has always been a high performer, I have found it profoundly destabilizing to be in this position. It's starting to make me question whether I can perform at a job, which is absurd because I know I always have, but it's just been profoundly weird to navigate. And all this is to say that if you are looking for a job, it's not you, it's them. It's them.
I don't know if anyone saw my TikToks about me looking for work here in Austin and like having a hard time being unemployed for 15 months. I got a job. I started today. I've not been posting because I've just been enjoying not having to look for work anymore. 15 months. 9 of that probably looking for work. Off and on doing a lot of other things. Interviews galore. Stay hopeful. I got a great job so far. My manager's awesome. I'm super excited. I did not wear this to work today. I just got off and I'm gonna go hang out with my friends now, but stay hopeful. 15 months. As someone who's been in sales and is good at like networking and doing all these things and trying the hardest, you know what got me the most hits? TikTok. The most progress I ever made on finding work was from posting a TikTok that I moved to a new city and that I was looking for work and just being like, if anyone wants to help, I'm here to take your help. Thank you to all the kind people who've helped me out. Y'all are the best. Stay hopeful if you're searching for a job right now. I know it's tough. Thanks. Have a good day.
If you are job searching, I would highly recommend expanding beyond LinkedIn for your job search. First reason is I'm noticing that LinkedIn is not doing a good job showing local mid-sized job opportunities. The competition for remote is so fierce. Those jobs have hundreds, if not seemingly thousands of applicants within like seconds of being posting. And so a strategy that incorporates local job opportunities that are hybrid, and I've even noticed that some say a certain locale, but say remote or hybrid optional. I noticed that mid-sized companies that weren't big corporate companies were not being shown in searches or being shown really deep in the search window. And secondly, I don't know if there's like a heavy algorithm that they apply to your profile. I was trying to help an overwhelmed parent friend with their job search and their job search strategy, and I had put in a specific location, these specific things, and they were not honoring those searches. It was for showing me my profile. And one of the things that I think might be an issue is if you've been searching in a specific niche and you realize you can expand your niche, if that algorithm that's attached to your profile is not going to budge, you're not going to see certain jobs. And going back to the regional, I noticed that, okay, maybe those companies near me weren't hiring for the jobs that, I was searching for. And some of these jobs were generic enough, like project manager, program manager. I got a list of like companies within a driving distance and put them into LinkedIn. Specifically, I had to go to each company profile and then search each company profile manually. And lo and behold, there were project and program management jobs that were a fairly decent fit. So I don't know what's going on with LinkedIn, but if you're not having luck, try other platforms. I haven't really used Indeed, but try Indeed. Built in, I think those are more tech-y jobs, regional jobs. So I will look at Built in LA, builtin.com, and go to companies' websites, compile your own lists and go directly to their websites, because I don't know, it's wild navigating as this job search in this era is worse than 2008.
You need to start lying if you want to keep your job. Lie about the type of day you're having, saying you're having a great day. Lie about liking your coworkers. Lie about loving hanging out with people. Lie about what's going to happen in the future. And lie about how much work you're going to get done and what you're going to produce. That was my mistake, is not lying. It's how I got fired. Literally, I was like, okay, you know what? They say it pays to tell the truth. No, it pays to tell a lie. My job was highly based on, okay, what are you going to do next year? Because I was in account management / sales. And things with account management is you can only do as much as your accounts have the ability to handle. If they don't have projects coming up, you can't force them to spend millions of dollars. You can't force them to create new inventions. But it does not matter to upper management. So when I told upper management, hey, their business will be up about 5-10% next year based off everything that the market's saying. I did all this research, but they only make a new machine every 7 to 12 years. I can't force them to use new parts. Everything from now for the next 5 to 10 years is going to be in research and development. So yes, their number will go up, but I cannot make the amount of parts we sell to them or components we sell to them go up, because it's only going to be on small one-offs. 6 weeks later, I got called in and they said, we are terminating your employment.
I don't know if y'all been on it recently, but LinkedIn is a fucking mess. It's like a sea of bad news. Every other post is, I regret to inform you that I've been impacted by the layoffs at such and such company. It's going to be harder to even get a job because now I got to compete against everybody and their mama who has worked at any tech company ever. And I'm fresh out of school. I feel like more and more people are feeling bamboozled by the American dream, and that is not a good place for our country to be. One of you guys commented that they think that organized crime is going to be on the rise, but on a whole new level, because it's all these tech bros that are getting laid off. And I laughed really hard, but also it's so true. It's so plausible. You're going to have all these pissed off smart people who can't get a job. Man, calling in smoke.
Just all the emotions you go through. It's probably been the hardest time of my entire life. I'm Amanda. Used to work in tech until I got laid off in December 2022. So going on 2.5 years without having a full-time job, which sounds crazy to say out loud. I work 5 different part-time jobs, or essentially I have 5 different streams of income right now. And I'm transitioning, going back to grad school. I'm going to be majoring in accounting. It's been a long progress. I'm feeling probably the most confident I have over the past couple years in this job search. I'm actually really excited to go back to school. Finally feel like I'm like moving in the right direction. I'm weirdly the person who loves doing their own taxes. And then I just started doing a lot of more research on accounting. I actually know a lot of people that work in accounting today, and I started chatting with them about their careers. I just was like, I think this is it. Like, this makes like a lot of sense for me. I feel very confident that this is like a good route and a good investment in myself. In my mind, I was like, I think it's worth it.
I am truly shocked just how brainwashed the corporate America has a lot of us. And I'm not saying that to offend the regular folks. I'm saying that as I was unemployed recently, just a couple months ago. I've been employed for the last 3 months, but prior to that I was unemployed for 3 months. I got laid off from my previous company. And what's so interesting to me, I spent like every week applying to at least 30 to 40 jobs weekly for those 3 months I was unemployed. Every single day I applied to jobs like it was a full-time job. Every hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Every hour, every single hour I would apply for a couple of jobs. Now, mind you, I am employed. It's none of the jobs I applied for. I was recruited. But what's so interesting to me is the entire time I was waking up every single morning and applying for jobs while I'm sitting out eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee is that I felt guilty the entire time. I just like, I'm flabbergasted at the reality of that. I saw somebody on TikTok talking about it earlier, that there's a profound sense of shame as well as guilt, but specifically the guilt of feeling like you did something wrong, right? You are looking for jobs. And the only time you feel like not guilty is on the weekend. You're not employed the entire time, but the only time you feel non-guilt is because it's the weekend and everybody's off on the weekend, so you don't feel bad for not having a job. But it's like crazy to me because simultaneously we also have the conversation going on right now that nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work, yet we're feeling guilty that we don't have a job. That's nonsensical to me. Because first of all, most people want to work. Companies don't want to hire, and they also don't want to pay. But even for the companies that don't want to pay, people are still applying for those jobs. Myself, I was applying for jobs that were completely out of my pay range that I'm used to. But I was just looking for a job. I don't care. I've always worked from home. I've worked from home since 2018, but I was applying for jobs in office. It didn't matter. I was applying for jobs in my field that I know I have extensive history in working. Like, every single bulletin point I was meeting, or at least majority of it I was meeting, and still I was having issues. And what's cracking me up again is that there's this notion that nobody wants to work. They're lazy. They don't want to put in effort. And yet companies are consistently not hiring, but they have these jobs up. And that was the thing. Even now I go back and look at some of those jobs I applied for. They're still there. They're still there. It wasn't even like the positions got filled, and I'm still getting rejected to jobs I applied for 6 months ago. Because mind you, I've been employed for the last 90 days for the last 3 months, and I was applying for those jobs since September, October. They're still there. And I met majority, if not all, the requirements. And this is not to toot my own horn. This is to prove a point. I had 4 different resumes just to switch it around and do different things. I had 2 created by AI and 2 I did myself. And I still did not get any of those jobs. I didn't have anybody reach out to me. I got a job via recruiter, but it was crazy how many job sites I went on, how many times a day I was actively looking for a job and was not able to find one. And yet I'm constantly hearing nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work hard. Americans don't want to work. And yet I'm seeing constantly on TikTok people getting on here saying I've been unemployed for 8 months. I've been unemployed for 6 months. People are taking barista jobs and waitressing jobs. And that's not to say those jobs are demeaning. And a lot of times those jobs pay more than corporate jobs. But the point is that people are applying for whatever is available, and they're still being told they're not trying. They're still being told they're not working hard. And that's why I have a lot of room and a lot of grace, not only for myself, but for other people. Because I'm like, babes, we're all going through the trenches right now, and we're all making an effort, and we're being hardcore gaslit by the people around us while they're simultaneously taking away aid that would help us while they're not hiring us and not paying us. I am flabbergasted at how well they were able to sufficiently brainwash us, especially millennials, and how sucky it is going to be for Gen Z because they're looking for jobs out of college, and we're looking for jobs during this time, and none of us are finding jobs, even though the jobs are listed and we're applying. And we have 4 resumes and 5 resumes and all this expert advice and all this career advice and career shift. I don't care how much you shift your career. That's why everybody's trying to be a influencer, and I don't blame them. No matter how annoying it is to hear people talk about content creation, which it is becoming very annoying on this app, and no matter how much annoying it is to see people become influencers, what are they supposed to do to keep their lights on?
Yes, unfortunately, they're going to have to sell on TikTok Shop. Of course, they're going to be a pain in your ass because corporations are a pain in everybody else's ass who are qualified to work and are unable to. And then for the people who make buku bucks, make a lot of money, of course they're going to keep doing this because the corporate job has been so uncertain that running your own business seems more sensible now. Not even if you don't want to do it, because I know entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but what is one to do when you're qualified for jobs and they're either not paying you or simply not hiring?
Tell you what though, the only thing worse than getting laid off twice in 6 months is the second conversation happening first thing in the morning while the coffee hits your digestive system and you have to clean out your desk and get in your car without using the company bathroom. That's just shitty.